Hi there, I'm Brooke Baldwin. Top of the hour, you are watching CNN. Great to be here with you. Listen, we are hours before Super Tuesday. The Republican Party is at war over Donald Trump and the rising likelihood that he will become the party's nominee tomorrow. Check the map with me. 11 states here hold Republican primaries or caucuses, and Trump already has wins in 3 states under his belt. When you look at the recent polling, this new CNN poll shows Trump has the support of 49% of Republicans nationwide. That dwarfs his competitors, whose combined percentages still fall short of Trump's lead. But will this latest controversy, when he failed to fully disavow a former KKK leader Sunday on CNN, perhaps cut into his support? It might have played a part in this major disruption at his rally. This was just moments ago. Watch this for yourself. Some of these protesters here, they were there, obviously holding hands and chanting Black Lives Matter. They interrupted his speech, refusing to leave the venue there. This is Radford University in Virginia. Let's go to our senior White House correspondent, Jim Acosta, who was at that event. And Jim Acosta, can you tell me what exactly happened?
Yeah, this is the rowdiest Donald Trump rally that I've covered since I've been covering this campaign for the last month or so. Basically, what happened about halfway to 3/4 of the way through this rally, and keep in mind there were a few other protests that broke out before this happened. We saw about 20 to 30 protesters, largely African American, but there were folks of all races, I believe, in the mix there, who started chanting. And at first they did not want to leave, and then security, eventually there was a large enough security presence there that they started walking out. And at that point, some of them, perhaps all of them, not really sure about that, were chanting Black Lives Matter. Let's show you a little piece of that video, and then Donald Trump's reaction to that just after that.
Okay.
All right, folks, you're going to hear it once. All lives matter.
So there you have Donald Trump's reaction to it, all lives matter. And that was, Brooke, after about 10 or 15 seconds of the crowd chanting all lives matter. And keep in mind, part of this got started because just before that group of protesters started chanting Black Lives Matter and other protests, there was another protester on the other side of this auditorium here who got up and was being escorted out by security. And Trump at that point said to her, "Are you from Mexico?" She appeared to be of Hispanic descent. Now, there was a photographer, we should point out, there was sort of a media scrum, and a photographer who was in the press pen with us got into an altercation with Secret Service officers. We witnessed it firsthand. There's some video of it out there on social media right now. This Time magazine photographer named Chris Morris, he tried to leave the media pen to go cover the protest. He was grabbed and taken down by Secret Service agents. We personally saw this on video that was taken of the incident. I just had a chance to talk to Chris Morris after this was over. He said he did not throw a punch, did not get physical at all, and that it was at about 18 inches, he put it, after he left the pen, he was grabbed by Secret Service agents and thrown to the ground. He says he's not pressing charges, but it just gives you that sense as to how this was a very volatile mix here at this Donald Trump rally, not to mention some of the red-hot rhetoric that was being used by the candidate on stage. This was the rowdiest protest I've seen so far of this campaign, Brooke.
My goodness, all happening there at Radford University, all at the same rally. Jim Acosta, volatility indeed. Thank you for that. Let's broaden this out, and let me bring in my panel. I have Pastor Darrell Scott, founder and senior pastor at New Spirit Revival Center in Ohio, a Trump supporter, and also with me, John McCager Max Stepanovich, chairman of the Florida State Government Relations and a Marco Rubio supporter. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Good to see you again, Brooke.
Good to see you. Pastor, let me just begin with you, and just going back to some of the video, and Alan, if we have it, let's play it again, of these protesters. I'm just curious, to you as a Trump supporter, as an African-American pastor, when you see these young folks together holding hands, you know, disrupting this rally, chanting Black Lives Matter, what is happening here? What's your response?
Well, as one who is used to speaking in front of crowds, I think that anyone that comes to someone's event with the intent to disrupt, I mean, they're wrong right from the very beginning. Peaceful protest is one thing, disruption is another. And they're seeking to disrupt Donald Trump because of the momentum that he's gained in this presidential election. You've got to realize, Brooke, when the election began, everyone looked at Trump with a sense of amusement. This clown, this buffoon, this carnival barker. But, you know, it has escalated from amusement, it went to concern. From concern, it went to worry. From worry, it went to fear. Now it's all out panic. Everyone is like, it seems as if Trump is going to become the Republican nominee. And people are afraid, people are scared. And it seems to me to be a concerted effort on the part of the liberal left and the powers that be on the right to, it's not so much now as winning or gaining the presidency as it is stopping Donald Trump. And I don't understand what the fear is. I really don't.
Let me, as you pointed out, they have a right to be there. I hear you on an intention to disrupt. I can't crawl into their minds and hearts and know exactly what they were thinking. But race, Pastor, race has become such a part of this race, specifically with regard to Donald Trump talking to my colleague Jake Tapper on TV just yesterday, supporting a man who in this interview, did not disavow the KKK. I have to stay with you and just ask you about your response to that he did not do that.
Well, I looked at it, and the bottom line, Jake Tapper continued to ask him a question, and Jake Tapper wasn't satisfied with the answers. Jake Tapper asked him, do you...
Did he get an answer? I mean, I think it's fair to continue asking your interviewee the same question until you get an appropriate response.
If he had just asked him, are you in agreement with an endorsement from the Ku Klux Klan, the answer would have been an unequivocal no. I mean, we all know, everyone knows, Trump absolutely does not endorse nor seek the endorsement or accept the endorsement of any hate groups, any supremacist group. But when he kept throwing out the name David Duke, Mr. Trump kept replying that I don't know this guy. Off the top of my head, I don't know this guy.
But he had just referenced him the Friday before. I think Jake entirely was in the right to ask him the question. Pastor, let me come back to you. Mac, okay. I just want to hear your voice, yes. Please, sir. Please weigh in on the validity. And I'm not actually, I think the question was entirely valid, but the exchange, Tapper had with Trump. And also, you're part of this. At least I was looking at your Twitter, you're tweeting the hashtag Never Trump. Explain that to me.
Right. Well, Donald Trump is a neo-fascist, and the pastor's correct. He scares the hell out of me. He's a xenophobe, he's a racist, he's a misogynist, he's a nativist, he's a hyper-nationalist. The acrid smell of violence that you're seeing on your video right now is always just in the background. Every time he speaks, the dog whistles are deafening. And what you're seeing there is the fruit that Donald Trump has been sowing for a year that may destroy the Republican Party, and certainly, I believe, is a danger to the country. No, other than that, I have no strong feelings, however.
Other than that, I'm glad you held back there. No, Mac, I appreciate it, and I think your strong views represent a huge chunk of not just the Republican Party, but some Americans. But at the same time, you look at the numbers, you look at how well Donald Trump has done, the people are speaking. Pastor.
Well, Donald Trump is not a xenophobe. Donald Trump is not a misogynist. I know him personally. The Trump organization employs women in high capacities. He has a tremendous amount of respect for women. He's not a xenophobe. He's not a misogynist. He's not a racist. The only time race enters into the equation with Trump is when others bring it up. And I find it also amusing that whenever Trump does make a proposal that people tend to attribute to racism, a week or two later, 3 weeks later, the other candidates come in and weigh in on the same issue, and they have the same opinions that Trump does. As a matter of fact, Brooke, and most people don't know because we haven't made the announcement yet, but we have an organization, myself, Bruce Lavelle out of Atlanta, and others, have an organization that is called the National Association of Minorities for Trump. And it's made up of Asian Americans, Indian Americans, African Americans, Hispanics, whatever. And, Mr. Trump has expressed to us that he wants us to present to him minority initiatives that can help all the different minority communities. I mean, it's not just, but he's not doing this to pander for votes. This is a genuine concern that he has. And so we're going to present these initiatives to him. We have at-risk minority youth between the ages of 10 and 17 that we're trying to help stay off drugs, to be educated. We have an urban revitalization program that's trying to revitalize 10 cities at a time. We have a prison reentry program that reacclimates minorities into American system. These things don't get the publicity. People simply seek for the negative to use against Trump and never any of the positive.
I'm not seeking positive or negative.
Let me add some of those
negatives.
negatives.
Go ahead, Mac. Please, I'm seeing you shaking your head.
Well, I'm going to repeat again, and I respect the pastor certainly, and I respect his passion. I believe the organization he's been asked to help form is a beard. It's a smokescreen to disguise the reality of Donald Trump. And I will repeat again, the man is a racist and he's a xenophobe. And if he's not, Ann Coulter and Jean-Marie Le Pen and the KKK and David Duke are going to be shocked because they've gone to some effort to endorse his candidacy and support what they really understand to be his views when they read between the lines.
If I may jump in, I want you to respond. I want you to respond because being called a beard and a smokescreen is nothing. It's nothing to laugh about. But let me just add this: Mitt Romney just responding to the not disavowing the KKK. Let me just share this with both of you. Quote: "A disqualifying and disgusting response by Donald Trump to the KKK. His coddling of repugnant bigotry is not the character of America." Pastor.
Who is Mitt Romney? What, Mitt Romney? Why don't you just go away? You lost.
Who is Mitt Romney?
Go away, Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, it seems as if, it's a party that he hasn't been invited to, and he wants to put a lampshade on his head and dance at the New Year's Eve party. First of all, this is not a smokescreen, this organization. Mr. Trump did not ask us to build it. We built the organization, and we told Mr. Trump we have several minority platforms, several minority agendas that we want to advance, and he welcomed them. He didn't ask us to do this. We're not puppets or shills for Trump. We have our own minds. We're people
make sure you get some of those nasty Mexicans on your panel, Pastor.
Listen, you're being sarcastic, but that's all right. You guys are scared. Trump is winning.
I am scared. I'm terrified,
you
Pastor.
need to be scared because what you're saying about Trump, when you have all of these Americans that are endorsing Trump, what does it say about the climate that has been created in America over the past 8 years? It wasn't like this when Bush was president. Now, all of a sudden, over the last 8 years, this divisiveness, this climate, this political and this social climate in America has digressed to the point that we have this. This is the result of 8 years of Democratic presidential administrations.
Mac, you get the last word.
Mac,
jump in. We got to go.
It's not Trump's fault.
Yeah.
A
significant portion of the American electorate is obviously anxious. It's obviously angry. And it's striking out. But that doesn't make them right, Pastor. I mean, they can be angry, and they can be Americans, and they can be wrong, and they're wrong. This guy is a bad news for this country.
Well, if America is a democracy, democracy is from the Greek word demos kratos, then the people are speaking. The people are speaking.
Mac Stipanovich, thank you so much. Pastor Gerald Scott, I appreciate both of you.
Brooke, glad to see you back, Brooke.
Varying perspectives on this race. Thank you both. Please also tune in tomorrow for CNN's special Super Tuesday live coverage. We will be here all day and into the evening right here on